Greetings, my Ugandan friends. I'm Stan Reynolds from the United States, and I'm so honored to be with you. I first visited your country back in 2007, and then again in 2017, and you won my heart. Okay, I just love the folks there in Uganda, and you just become a part of me. My goal is really to begin to create some curriculum that will allow people to begin to help themselves. You know, you got a great theme today. Your theme is what we need to do to prepare for the future. What we need to do to prepare for the future. Well, one of the things we need to do is begin to develop a plan. An action plan. You know, we need to be able to dream, to use our imagination, to decide what it is that we want to do. So we need to prepare ourselves, we need to plan, we need to practice, we need to just push forward on all of our goals and all of our dreams. And that's what we're going to help you to do today. I have been blessed to be able to attend the University of South Florida and take some doctorate level classes on education and psychology. One of my goals was to be able to present to you science-based, empirically supported educational process, and that's what we're doing with the Logic Dive. You know, one of the keys of learning is our ability to tap into our memory, into our long-term memory, and to encode things. We need to encode things into our long-term memory. We have a sensory memory, we have a short-term memory, a working memory, and a long-term memory. Understanding how they work and how to utilize our memory will help us a great deal. That's why we're turning to mnemonics. Mnemonics or mnemonic devices are simply any tool that helps to trigger our memory and cause us to remember something. The mnemonic device that we're going to be using today is going to be the Logic Die. It's a little different, as you can see, from a regular die or dice. Normally you have these and they are a game piece, so we have to have a paradigm shift. We've always seen them as a toy. Now we want to begin to look at them as a tool to help us trigger our memories so that we can recall certain things. In order for that to happen, each side teaches us a very specific lesson. 6 teaches a lesson, 1 teaches a lesson each side. Where we normally would think that a die would have 6 sides, this particular die actually has 7 sides, because we want to count the inside, which you can't really see very well. You want to count the inside as the 7th side. And it's who you and I are on the inside that counts. If we're going to change our lives, we change our lives from the inside out, even though people judge us by our outside. So this Logic die is going to have 7 sides. Not only does this die have 7 sides, it has 8 points. Where sides 1, 2, and 3 come together, that's what we call the top pivot point. Where sides 4, 5, and 6 come together, we call that the bottom pivot point. And we pivot it just like this. We don't roll it, okay? We pivot it. Now this is a mnemonic device, and so the points are supposed to help us to remember something also. And so we ask each other, what letter in the alphabet does point start with? Of course, it's a P word. And so we have all these P lessons that we want to remember. We're starting off with picture. Our brains thinks in pictures. Every single thing we do, we picture it before we do it. As we picture something, that's our planning process. So we're beginning that planning of what it is that we want to achieve and accomplish. A lot of times we take those problems that we suffer with and we convert them into projects, and we run through a 1, 2, 3 thinking process. Now we've got single P lessons and we have double P lessons. I like to teach the bottom double P lesson where 4, 5, and 6 come together first. And it's simply this. It's the pain-pleasure principle in psychology. As a human species, everything we do to gain pleasure or to avoid pain. To gain pleasure or to avoid pain. This is how we can get mental leverage on ourselves. When I used to smoke cigarettes, okay, I smoked because I thought it was pleasurable. My grandfather smoked, my friends smoked, you know, it was just a thing to do. It was pleasurable. However, one day I ended up quitting. And why did I quit? Because I had a paradigm shift. I began to take and see what used to be pleasurable as now being painful. Okay? Swapping that pain-pleasure picture that we hold in our mind can change everything for us. My grandfather was dying of emphysema, but he continued to smoke those cigarettes. He used to cough and hack and he couldn't even breathe. And just watching him suffer through that created enough pain or future pain that I could see in my mind that it helped me to quit smoking cigarettes by simply changing the picture that I had as pleasurable to a picture of painful. So there's a lot of P words that are very important. Our next double P lesson, which is really the most important lesson I've ever learned in my life, is this top double P lesson right here. And it's simply this. It's paper and pencil. It's the moment you take a sheet of paper and a pencil and you begin to write out your ideas that you literally give birth to organized thought. Okay? That's when something comes from the inside to the outside. If you take a look at the room that you're in, everything that you see all around you that's man-made, you'll discover that it's, first of all, started in somebody's imagination, but it passed through a sheet of paper before it became a reality. And that's what we need to teach our students to learn as we go forward and prepare for the future, is if we want the future to be designed by us, we must begin to write it down. We must begin to write those plans down so we can begin the process of dealing with each little aspect of that plan. 6 is going to be the highest number on the die. And so what we want it to represent is our highest or our best. If we're going to achieve in life, or we're going to plan for the future, we need to give our future our absolute best. But how do you do your best? By focusing on one thing at a time. If you take a look at every time that you've ever done your best in your whole life, it's because you've been focused. You've been focused on that one thing. You begin to develop that plan, that picture in your mind. You've been dreaming about it. And that's what we want to begin to do. We want to begin to develop that picture or that plan and stay focused on that one thing that we want to get done. And then we're going to go to side 2. Any one thing, we want to begin to break it down. We want to begin to ask ourselves questions. You know, there's really what we know and what we don't know. So we can't have a closed mind. We need to have an open mind. With an open mind, you can begin to learn and discover new things. That one thing that you want to commit to do your best on, we're literally going to take and use a little arithmetic and we're going to divide it down. You know, how do you divide something down? By asking questions. Questions lead to answers. Questions can be the most important thing that you learn to ask because it causes you to be curious. It causes you to continue to open up, and that curiosity is what helps us to go and to grow. Okay? And then side 3, you're right here in the middle. You're going to talk to this person, get some outside advice, and that person's going to be gone. You're going to talk to this person, get some outside advice, and that person's going to be gone. So you're going to know what this person knows, and you're going to know what this person knows about that one thing you want to do your best on. And of course, advice or recommendations comes from a lot of different places. It may come from the library, it may come from the internet, it may come from your teacher or an elder person that has some experience in the area. So the whole learning process is as simple as focus on one thing at a time. Break it down, divide it down, ask yourself questions, talk to people and get some outside advice, and you will know what to do. Well, I don't want to overwhelm you, so this is a good stopping point. Remember, your theme is what we need to do when we prepare for the future. The most important thing you can do is grab that pencil and a sheet of paper and to begin to organize your thinking. As you do that, you'll be able to accomplish whatever it is that you are dreaming of doing. One last word. I had wrote this original book that Simon had received there in Uganda. He began to apply those principles, and that's why we have so many success stories. It's how to do the impossible and a whole lot more. And that's what we really show you on side 4 of the die. Let you work through 1, 2, and 3. When we get to side 4, we're going to be categorizing things, and we'll show that to you in the next video. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it very much.